Hey everyone, I hope you are having a wonderful day so far. I am just dropping this special little clip into all the episodes. So, no matter what episode you're listening to, this is actually pretty current as of July 2024. I wanted to come on here and just say a big thank you to Earworthy because the Life Shift podcast was just named the best overall podcast of the year in the first Earworthy Independent Podcast Awards. And you've probably seen some articles written about the Life Shift podcast before, written by Earworthy. And now he is launching from his online publication, he is launching these yearly winners of independent podcast awards. And these are specifically for indie podcasters. We are those that wear all the hats. We create the show. Some people write the show. We're producers, sound engineers. We troubleshoot all the tech. We do any kind of research if we need to. We host the shows. We distribute the shows. We do all the things that relate to our shows because we love it. And it's so nice to see my name in a list with some other amazing podcasts like Multispective, which won Best Life Lessons Podcast. Salad with a Side of Fries won Best Health Podcast. Bippity Boppity Business won Best Business Advice Podcast. And there are so many more. And so I just want to come on here and say thank you to Earworthy for not only doing these awards every year and just honoring some of us indie podcasters that sometimes feel like we're just shouting into the void, but we're not. We're just doing what brings us joy, and hopefully through that work it brings other people joy. In my case, for the Life Shift, I hope that each episode finds the ears that needed to hear it the most so that they feel a little less alone in their circumstance. But also, Earworthy writes all these amazing publications pretty much weekly, every week, every weekday, I should say, where he writes on Blogger, Medium, Substack, Tumblr, Vocal, Many Stories, and for other places. And he really just highlights the independent podcasters. So thank you, Frank, for everything you do with Earworthy and for recognizing all of us in the first Earworthy Independent Podcast Awards. If you'd like to read more, please head to medium.com/EAR hyphen WORTHY. Thanks again and enjoy this episode. Hello, my friends. This is another preview to a bonus episode that we do over on the Patreon feed. And so, with these bonus episodes, I like to go back to former guests and just catch up with them based on what we talked about on their show and see if things have changed a little bit. Maybe they had some feedback from people that they didn't expect, or maybe they just learned something new about themselves by sharing the story. And so, in this clip, I wanted to share just a little piece of the latest conversation that I had. If you're interested in checking out the full bonus episodes, you can head over to the Patreon page, which is www.thelifeshiftpodcast.com/join. And there is a special tier that gets you ad-free episodes, early release episodes, and the bonus episodes. Come on over, check out the Patreon community, and see how you can support the show if you're interested. But without further ado, here's a preview of the latest bonus episode. Remember in your conversation or in our conversation, a lot of the things we talked about kind of also like had this linkage to you as a child and the things that you gravitated towards and the dedication that you had towards the things that you were passionate about, whether that was, competitive cheerleading or whether that was the computer stuff and your nerdy side.
Yeah.
Whatever that was. And I think I liked that element because I think so many of us have these passions as kids and we either are like pulled away from them or told that they're not valid or they're not something that you could make a career out of or those kind of things. And so I think it's nice for those of us that got pulled away from those things to hear people like you that like it's still burning, that fire's still burning well into your old age now because you're just slightly younger than me.
Yeah, I mean, I was like out of the blue. I was actually talking about this with a friend yesterday. A lot of times, we get pulled away from what we're attracted to as a kid. As a kid, I love to like just play in my room with my own toys by myself, like in the corner, and I would create stories and stuff like that. And for me, it was a challenge for me to interact with other people at first, and this, working by myself at home building websites, there's a lot of alone time, but I do like that aspect to it. Now, I do have to force myself to get out and talk to people and see people. But yes, I do feel like that when I was, because I was a deputy sheriff for 13 years, that I wasn't able to do that as much, like just come up with ideas by myself. And I felt that coming back to this job was coming back to that, as playing, with my own toys as a kid, and then the type of thought process, my curiosity as a kid, I was able to tap into that again, even deeper now that I do this job.
It's kind of like bringing that childhood wonder or that like that ability to like think outside of whatever the rules were.